Imagine the quiet hum of a New York City apartment on a cold December evening. The kind where the world outside rushes by in holiday frenzy. But inside, time slows to a crawl. That's where it began for me. Sophia Reyes, 32 years old, staring at my phone screen as if it had just slapped me across the face. I just wrapped up a late video conference for my job as a digital marketing strategist at a midtown firm, solid 6 figures. Perks like unlimited PTO that I rarely used, and a view of the Empire State Building from my desk that screamed success. But success, as I'd learn, was a lonely fortress when built on the ruins of a family that only saw you as a lifeline. The text came at 8:12 p.m. from my father. Ramon. No prelude. No warmth. Holidays would be merrier without your drama. Stay away. 7 words that landed like a gut punch, sucking the air from my lungs. I read them over and over, waiting for the punchline. The apology bubble. Anything. Nothing came. Just silence. Thick and accusing, wrapping around me like the fog rolling in off the Hudson. I didn't cry. Not then. Instead, a strange calm washed over me. The kind that comes when a dam finally cracks after years of holding back a flood. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, then typed back, noted. 1 word. Final as a door slamming shut. I set the phone down, poured myself a scotch from the bottle I'd been saving for a promotion celebration, and opened my banking app. There they were. The automatic transfers I'd set up like clockwork, $1,200 a month to my parents' account in Scranton, Pennsylvania, $700 for my sister Mia's endless emergencies, extras for dad's fishing gear, mom's spa days, the home repairs they never bothered budgeting for. Over 7 years, it added up to over $180,000 gifts, not loans, poured into a black hole of entitlement. I'd been their safety net, their invisible benefactor, while they treated me like an afterthought. That night, as the city lights twinkled mockingly outside my window, I started unraveling the threads. Cancel transfers. Update passwords. Remove them from my contacts. My beneficiaries. My life. It was methodical. Almost therapeutic. Like editing a flawed campaign strategy until it shone with precision. But beneath it, a storm brewed, years of swallowed hurts rising like bile. Growing up in Scranton, in a modest row house where coal dust still lingered in the air from the old mines, I learned early that love was conditional, doled out in scraps to those who demanded it loudest. I was the quiet one, the responsible Sophia, while Mia was the star, charming, dramatic, always center stage. At 9, I watched Mom fuss over Mia's ballet recital, sewing sequins onto her costume by hand, while my science fair win got a pat on the back and good job. Kid, now help with dinner. Dad, a retired warehouse foreman with a temper like a sudden storm, preached about hard work but reserved his pride for Mia's fleeting achievements, her prom queen crown, her half-hearted community college stint. Girls like you don't need the spotlight, he'd say, as if my straight A's and part-time jobs were burdens rather than badges. Independence became my armor. By 13, I was tutoring neighbors' kids for cash, stashing it away for college apps I filled out alone. When I got into NYU on a merit scholarship, their reaction wasn't joy, it was inconvenience. Who's gonna watch me after school? Mom sighed, as if my future was a minor scheduling glitch. NYU was my escape. A whirlwind of lectures and late nights where numbers and narratives made sense. Unlike the chaos back home, I majored in marketing with a focus on data analytics, thriving in the clarity of campaigns that delivered results. Professors mentored me, internships turned into offers. But every weekend, the calls trickled in, not check-ins. but checklists. Sophia. The roof's leaking, send what you can. Mia needs tuition help, she's trying. You know, I sent it all. Dipping into my ramen budget savings. Telling myself it was family duty. By graduation, I'd landed at Vanguard Media, starting at $70,000. And the asks escalated. Dad's medical scare, that was really a hangover from too many beers. Mia's car payments for a ride she crashed twice. Mom's church retreat that looked suspiciously like a Vegas getaway. I tracked it in a private spreadsheet. Watching the outflow climb. $3,500 average monthly. Funding their comforts while I crashed on friends' couches to afford Manhattan rent. The betrayal wasn't sudden, it simmered. Hidden in plain sight. Forgotten birthdays marked by generic Facebook likes. Family barbecues I learned about through tagged photos. Always with excuses like, we knew you were swamped. Mia's engagement party last year? I wasn't invited, too far. And you're always so busy. But when Dad wanted a new bass boat, the calls came relentlessly. Mom's voice would sweeten artificially. Honey, we've sacrificed so much for you girls. Sacrifices? Like the hand-me-down clothes from thrift stores while Mia got designer labels? The solo parent-teacher conferences I attended myself? The way they'd brag to neighbors about our successful Sophia in the big city, only to guilt me into more wires. I'd internalized it. Offering before they asked. Chasing the illusion that enough dollars would buy the affection I'd craved. My therapist called it enmeshment. A toxic web where my worth was tied to their wants. Anxiety crept in, sleepless nights wondering if I'd ever be enough without the checks. That Christmas Eve text shattered the facade. It wasn't just rejection, it was revelation. They didn't want me, they wanted my utility. I booked a Greyhound bus to Scranton for the 25th. Not for confrontation, but observation. A dingy motel on the edge of town. Cash payment. No trace. I'd watch their merrier holiday from afar, confirm what my gut screamed. As the bus rumbled south, my phone stayed silent, no regrets. No explanations. They assumed I'd fold. As always. But in that quiet ride, resolve hardened. Christmas morning, I parked a rental car down the block from our old house, watching through binoculars like a stranger in my own story. Lights twinkled, laughter spilled out. Mia's new fiancé pulled up in a SUV I'd indirectly funded. Dad carved turkey with the set I'd gifted last year. No empty seat for me. No missed calls. Just proof I was expendable. Back in the motel, the dismantling began in earnest. I called the phone carrier first, our family plan. 4 lines. All on my dime since 2017. Remove 3 lines, I told the rep. They're independent now. She paused. Any reason? Family plan's over. Utilities next. I'd co-sign their electric and gas when Dad's credit tanked. Formal letters. Emailed and certified. Effective immediately. Revoke guarantor status. Subscriptions Netflix. Spotify. Mia's yoga app. Dad's sports streaming, all canceled. The joint emergency fund? $12,000. All my deposits. Transferred and closed. Credit cards where I was secondary? Removed. With disputes filed for unauthorized charges. My financial advisor had warned me years ago, you're building their empire on your back. Now, I rerouted everything for 401k to a charity if I passed unexpectedly. Emergency contacts to my best friend Lena. By evening, I'd erased them financially. The projected savings glowing on my screen, $42,000 yearly. Freedom in digits. The fallout hit like a nor'easter. December 26th. 9:05 a.m., Dad's first call. Voicemail barking. Where's the deposit? Mortgage is due. Mom followed, Sophia. The bank's saying you closed the account. Must be a glitch. Mia, my card bounced at brunch. Fix this. I listened in silence, each message a nail in the coffin of doubt. No, are you okay? Just demands. By noon, texts escalated, subscriptions failing, phones warning of disconnection. Their lawyer, a small-town buddy of Dad's, specializing in traffic tickets, emailed, "Cease of support constitutes abandonment. Legal recourse imminent." I smirked. Pennsylvania law laughed at that. No duty to fund lazy adults. Manipulation peaked on the 27th. Mom, your father's blood pressure's up. How could you? Dad, we know your address. This isn't done. Mia, jealous much? Always the bitter one. Aunts and uncles chimed in. Scripted guilt. Blood's thicker than water. Honor your parents. But cracks showed. Cousin Javier texted. They pulled this on Abuela too. Proud of you. I drove back to New York that night. Phone on Do Not Disturb. The weight lifting with each mile. Silence bred desperation. By the 28th. A family email blast. Dad's manifesto of my ingratitude, CC'd to 30 relatives. Responses varied, some piled on. Quoting scripture selectively, others whispered support. Their lawyer backed off, no viable claim. The climax erupted on the 29th. I posted on a private family Facebook group, no rants. Just facts. Spreadsheet summaries, $180,000 plus outflow. Screenshots, Mia's need 2K for Vakai texts, Dad's boat receipts on my card, Mom's uninvited holiday pics. The dam broke. Comments flooded. Wait. She paid for that cruise. They said you were too snooty to visit. Allies emerged. Dad's old coworker. He bragged about your money like it was his. Mia's ex. She spent your rent on parties. Town gossip ignited. Their facade of hardworking victims crumbled. Mom's tearful video plea. We've loved her unconditionally. I countered with emails skipping my NYU graduation for costs, while funding their lake house rental the same month. New Year's Eve. They begged, compromise $1,500 monthly. I ignored. January 2nd. We met at a Denny's in Scranton, neutral ground. They arrived unified. Dad glowering. Mom teary. Mia sulking. End this nonsense, Dad commanded. I laid out the folder. Years of proof. You wanted merrier without me, here's what that costs. Arguments flew, we built your character. Ancient grudges. Then. Unexpected, great Uncle Carlos shuffled in. Uninvited. Envelope in hand. Witnessed enough leeching, he rasped. Updated my will, everything to Sophia. Mom gasped, but we're family. Family visits during chemo, he shot back. Revealing their borrowed loans from his late wife. Funneled to luxuries. He left with, she knows you're worth now 0. Stunned silence. I rose, we're finished. Dad, no daughter of mine. Never was. Outside. Air crisp as liberation. Blocked numbers. Deleted apps. Months later. Uncle Carlos passed, his estate, $1.8 million. House in my name. With clauses barring gifts to them for a decade. Contests failed. Now. Their house forecloses. Mia's engaged but registry ignored. My savings fund vacations. Therapy. A life with partner Alex. Who values boundaries. I volunteer at financial abuse hotlines. Knowing the scars. Holidays? With chosen kin. The price of choice? Loneliness at first. Then peace. They got merrier without me, a lifetime of it. And me? Finally whole. Not hollowed by their needs.